This race weekend had everything. 5am starts, mechanical failures, car balance problems, coolant explosions, a dying alternator, last minute repairs, and yet somehow we still managed to finish the season on a high.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been quite a while. We have a new video for you all today, and instead of being behind the wheel, I spent the whole weekend inside the garage, wrenching, problem solving, learning, and helping wherever I could. This video will hopefully be great for those who are interested in the grassroots level of motorsport in Australia. It will also be a bit of a breakdown of everything that I experienced and what went down across 3 massive days at Winton. The chaos, the fixes, the racing, and everything else in between. But before we get into the chaos of the weekend, I want to quickly explain about what the Australian Drivers' Championship actually is, because it has a huge place in Australian motorsport history. The ADC has been running since 1957, making it the 3rd oldest motorsport title in Australia.
That's a title that's been held by some of the country's greatest racing talents,
such as the likes of Tim Macro, David Brabham, some of 3-time Formula 1 champion Jack Brabham, Mark Scaife, Joey Mawson, and Aaron Cameron, to just name a few. The title has moved across from different series along the way, but has now found its way to the HyperX racing cars, which is a huge honour and an extreme privilege. An Australian-designed open-wheel racing car created by father and son, John and Dean Crook, who literally built the first prototype in their garage. Their mission was simple: create a car with genuine open-wheel performance, but at a price point that everyday racing drivers could realistically afford. And they nailed it. Fast forward to today, the Hyper Racer fields over 20 cars per round, with the production of cars expanding into the US and Europe. It's opened the door for a whole new wave of drivers who finally may have a pathway into proper high-performance open-wheel racing.
So what exactly is the Hyper Racer X1, you may ask?
In short, it's a purpose-built open-wheel racing car that delivers serious performance while keeping everything tightly regulated so that the racing stays close and costs stay reasonable. Inside the beast, it runs with a Suzuki Hayabusa engine, sealed, reliable, and screaming up to all the revs you'd expect. Power goes through a fixed ratio drivetrain, so everyone's running the same gearing. The car weighs in at just 520 kilos, including the driver, which makes it insanely responsive and light. The aero and suspension are all adjustable, but only within strict limits, and all the bodywork must remain the same as it is all supplied by Hyper Racer. Even the data logging is regulated. As for the tyres, teams run hand-cooked slicks on 3 set season allocations, and hand-cooked wets when needed. No tyre warmers allowed for races or qualifying, which keeps things interesting on cold mornings. All of this creates a proper driver-focused formula. No fancy electronics, no expensive upgrades, just raw, clean, competitive racing. In 2025, the ADC runs across 6 rounds at events hosted by High-Tech Oil Super Series, the Victorian Motor Racing Championship, and Motor Racing Australia. For round 6, we were at the Winton Motor Raceway, just outside Benalla in Victoria, which is about a 2.5-hour drive from Melbourne.
This round was really special for me.
Not just because of the amount of laps and test days I have driven around here in my Formula BMW, as well as in the simulator, but because I have jumped in to help my good friend Justin and his family for his final race weekend of the year.
So now that you know what the ADC is all about, let's get into the weekend, starting with a brutally early Friday morning.
I hit the road at 5 AM and rolled into Winton just after 7. No mucking around, we had to start prepping the car immediately, because practice 1 was at 8:10. Justin went out for practice 1, but through the session he was struggling for pace. He also said that the gear shifter felt completely wrong, way too much travel, like it had gone sloppy. He came back into the pits early, and this was when things got a smidge dramatic. The car was smoking from the top and covered in some kind of fluid. For a moment, we thought the engine had blown, so that was definitely a heart-and-mouth moment. But it turns out the coolant cap wasn't tight enough, which all it needed was an extra click. So the coolant had exploded all over the car, which was quite a bit of a cleaning job. We then discovered that the gear shifter bracket had snapped. To fix it, we had to pull out the recluse, the starter motor, and get into areas that we'd never touched before. That was scary. Boone, Justin's dad, was taking photos of everything where it was placed, just in case we made a bit of a misstep and the car wasn't working as it should. We had 1 hour and 30 minutes before practice 2 to fix it, which was literally a sweaty moment. But we managed it. Justin went back out for practice 2, but the balance of the car was off. This was also positive because it meant that the work we did on the gear stick was working just fine. Not our fault. But to make it worse, his rev limiter lights weren't working. The cable had shorted out somewhere. So he was basically driving like Senna, shifting purely by ear. Another fix for the day. We now head into practice 3, which didn't go smoothly either. The undertray broke at some point through the session, so we repaired it with the most reliable tool in motorsport, race tape. Then we found fuel at the bottom of the car when he came back into the garage. This made us panic hard. After almost an hour searching, the problem was an overfilled tank. Could this day have been any more stressful? It was not even 2:30 p.m. yet. Now we come into qualifying. We expected a hot session, so before Justin was about to go out, we dropped the tyre pressures to get them in a better window, as it had been pretty warm. Justin had been complaining about a lot of sliding and lack of grip towards the middle and end of the sessions. So when we took a reading of the tyre pressures after practice 3, we noticed that the tyres were very, very warm. So dropping the tyre pressures may take a little time for Justin to get the car in a good state and get quicker towards the middle and end of the session, rather than Justin slowing down due to fighting with the car. But as soon as Justin left the garage, the weather turned cold, windy, and started lightly drizzling. Not enough for wet tyres, but enough to make it really tricky. So the problem we thought we'd fixed created another issue. Instead of overheating, he couldn't get the tyres to switch on, so he ended up qualifying P15 out of 19. This was Friday. If I didn't wonder what I had gotten myself into earlier in the day, I was definitely thinking that by the end of the day. It was exhausting. I definitely needed some sleep and a shower. I also had the 2-hour drive back home. 2 more days coming up. With a later start, my partner Jesse and I arrived at around 11 AM to find Boone had made some balance changes to the car. The rev limiter lights were also fixed by Dean, the legend who built these cars, and the car was pretty much good to go for race 1. Race 1 was a touch messy off the start, but a solid one for Justin. He had a much better time in the car compared to practice and qualifying, where he charged from P15 to P10 in the first 2 laps.
Come on, Justin. That's it, Justin. Got him. Oh, he's cooked it, but he's got him. Well done.
But at the end of the race, he lost 1 position on the final lap, which meant he would finish up in P11.
Oh, Justin. So Jack got him.
Then came the random car weigh-in straight after the race. This is where we'd find out that 2 cars were disqualified for being a smidge underweight. And by a smidge, I mean 12 kilos. Which meant Justin got bumped from P11 to P9, which means some sweet extra points. After a tremendous start with race 1, race 2, however, was a bit of a nightmare. In the pre-grid, Justin's dash lights were flashing, which only he saw at the time, and it actually meant that the battery wasn't holding charge. We didn't know this yet. On the race start, from the sidelines we could see he slipped back a few positions immediately, and down the straights it looked like he was standing still compared to the other cars. We knew something was wrong, and 2 laps later, Justin brought the car back into the pit lane, in which he went straight into limp home mode. He had to retire. Diagnosis: a failing alternator, and this was the final race weekend of the year, so of course it happened. Not much we could do now, so we threw the car on charge for overnight and hoped it would be enough for the final 2 races of the weekend. But to cap off our Saturday night, we headed into the Benalla for the Northeastern Hotel for dinner, which was unreal. The pub is located roughly 10 minutes from the track. Mostly all the drivers and teams were there. A huge thanks to Boone and Melissa for treating my partner and I to a delicious meal. The food was awesome, and there was also live music creating a cozy ambience. Definitely a night to remember. So if you find yourself out in Benalla, or you're running a race weekend at Winton, I'd highly recommend. We set off after dinner a little further down the road towards Violet Town, where we checked into the Honeysuckle Inn, and honestly, it was exactly what we needed, which we basically arrived and collapsed, exhausted. 1 more day to go. Sunday was the big one. 31 degrees, extremely sunny, humid, and hot. We woke up at around 7 a.m. and came out to watch the morning sun on the balcony. A short history run about the inn. Originally built in 1905, it is now owned by a lovely couple named Leonie and Neil, who have clearly poured a lot of care and hard work into the place. It's been on development for the past 2 years and reopened in August 2025, and you can really feel the attention to detail. We stayed in room 4, which looks out onto the upstairs balcony, and even though our stay was short, it was incredibly cozy, comfortable, and peaceful. The views from over the town from the balcony were unreal. Violet Town itself is such a charming, beautiful place, and the Honeysuckle Inn blends that historic character with modern comfort perfectly. It was probably the most relaxed we've been of the entire weekend. For anyone that's wanting to blend a motorsport weekend with a relaxing stay, two themes you wouldn't think go together, then this is the spot to stay. It's about a 27-minute drive from the track. Not the closest, but not too far either. After a couple of hours of peace and calm, we headed down to the track at around 10 a.m. We met up with my friend Jonathan from Monday Racing who joined us for the day. He helped Justin with some data, driving lines, and also a small bit of setup. Exactly the type of support you want from race day. My other mate Christian also came down for the day to check it out, but also take some solid footage around the track. Before the race, we checked over the car. We fired it up using the battery pack to save the charge. And thankfully, it not only turned on without any flashing lights on the dash, it lasted the whole race. Justin even sent it into turn 1 with a cracking move. Whilst it wasn't the repeat of race 1, he managed to finish P15. In between race 3 and 4, we had a repair to do with the undertray as we noticed part of the race tape had either fallen or melted off. Luckily most of it was hanging on, but we had to fix the parts that came off.
That's a great shot. Yeah, I said that's what I do when I feel like I need to look busy at work. I just pretend I'm looking for something. And I rush around and pretend I'm...
Yes, it's a perpetual thing that's something.
That's right. Oh, you guys look like you're taking a nap.
Not quite.
Careful, Jess. Lucky Wackle's not under here to try and turn him.
That's so funny.
We also pulled off the rear wing as Jonathan noticed in race 3 that the rear wing was flexing a little bit too much. His theory was that there was some debris lodged in the sides of the wing. Guess what? When Justin brought the car back in after the race, there were stones and tyre rubber jammed in the sides.
What are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
There was blocks and rubber poured in it, so on the straight it was flapping around.
Oh,
So I had
okay.
to release it.
Yeah.
In my shades a bit.
Yeah.
I'll also get footage. Alright, just wait for that stop. That's not. That's fine, yeah.
We also had a bit of room to play with in terms of overall weight with the car, so we got to work and removed 6 kilos of lead because Justin simply didn't need it there anymore. Why was it there, you might ask? Well, at the start of the year, it was added to bring the weight of the car into the legal specifications window, with Justin in the car. However, since Justin had grown a bit through the year, he was carrying extra weight into the races. Why does this matter? Well, the more weight you carry, the heavier you are, which means the slower you will go. Every detail counts in the pursuit of lap time. In the end, we finished everything with only 40 minutes before the race.
Now that's, where is that? Yeah, beautiful. Tighten that. Okay.
You want to get 2 wrenches. One holding.
Now we come to the final race of the season. Justin was starting in P15. My last bit of advice to him was simply, make the first 3 corners count and have fun. Which he did exactly that. Off the start, he made up 3 places and jumped into P12. Around lap 6, Caradias made a late dive but wasn't far enough alongside, which meant he clipped Justin's floor. Luckily, it wasn't too bad and the car held together. A safety car ended the race and Justin brought it home safely. A solid end to a wild weekend. Now we come to the end. This weekend was honestly huge. I learned so much in these 3 days in the garage than I have in months. Just being around the car with some hands-on experience, problem solving, helping Justin push through adversity, it's the kind of experience that's going to make me a better driver when I get back behind the wheel.
By the way, if you want to support Justin in his racing career, I've attached his YouTube and Instagram profiles in the description down below, so don't forget to check out his stuff. I would like to say a big thanks to Justin and his family, Jonathan from Monday Racing, my partner Jesse, Christian, and everyone else that made the weekend what it was. I also want to say a massive thanks to each and every one of you for watching this video and hope you all got something out of it, and as well as having a look at what goes on at a garage at a race weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye for now.